All right.
We're good.
We're good.
It's all good from Diego to the Bay.
Okay, Mike. Welcome to Those 80s Kids Remember. I'm Andy.
I'm Brian.
Great.
And Mike.
There's it.
Looking good today, Mike. Good there, buddy.
A little nose scratch in there.
Mike Hedrum.
Welcome to the show today. Thankfully, we figured out my mess up last time. And now we have sound, so you are listening and watching.
Yeah, you don't have to read our lips.
Which is pretty hard considering the rate at which I'm sure I'm streaming. We all come over more as pixels than we do as people. So.
That's
Oh, okay.
But anywho, today's topic, we are talking about sitcoms of the 1980s. Best, worst, notable. I guess there's a lot of debatable ones if they're on the best
Yeah.
list.
What do you
or
want to
worst
start out with?
list.
You want to start out with ones that the world could have just done without? and Knight Rider comes to my mind like almost immediately.
Well, that's an action show.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
an
Knight
action
Rider's
show
an action
too?
show.
Yeah, that is. But it
Like,
had some comedy in it too.
Yeah, it wasn't intended
Yeah.
to be a comedy. It just ended up being a comedy.
Yeah, it did. Webster is another one that I think the world could have done without. Although I did watch that show in the beginning when it first started.
Well, I used to watch it every week too, but I was like,
Webster was just a reaction to different strokes.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's all it was.
That's
yeah.
all they wanted to find a freakishly small black kid because of some ailment, and so they found another one in Emmanuel Lewis, and and then they casted a real life husband and wife,
That's
right.
Alex Karras,
Alex Karras.
and his wife who was in Coogan's Bluff with Eastwood. What's her name?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
This is Alex Karras.
Yeah, Alex Karras. What was her name?
No,
I don't
know what
remember.
it was.
The plot of that one, I didn't remember this, but Karras was supposed to have been, his character was a football player on
Right.
the show, and an ex-teammate of his died,
Car accident.
and as you do, he left his son to his old teammate.
Right. That's what all teammates do.
Way to take one for the team there, buddy.
Yeah.
That
was
shows.
seriously the premise behind that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how Webster came to live with Mam and George. Yes.
And that's what he called them, Mam and George. That show started out funny.
It's really why I never got into professional football.
You want to get left with Webster?
Yeah, exactly.
Want to steer clear of Emmanuel. That show, it started out actually kind of funny because I remember my mom and me, my brother, we watched it. We were excited about it because it was going to be like different strokes. And the kid was cute and all that stuff, and it was funny. And then all of a sudden, he's getting possibly molested, and it's different strokes type, stuff they're writing.
God.
And then I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
They try to make it serious, and they try to make it, something that it couldn't be. Just quality.
A lot of sitcoms in the 80s did that.
Try to do the quality dramas.
They started focusing on issues a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even good ones did.
And they failed.
Well, we got the term "jump the shark" because of a failing TV
That's
show
right.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
That was
78, though.
That was like the disco era when Fonzie jumped the shark.
Yeah. That's
Well,
true.
but that's why we got that term, is because of failing shows.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
True.
And Webster jumped the shark when they became a serious.
When they tried to do serious stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Here,
A
Here's
special Webster coming up. I remember
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I was like, God, special means something to me.
like the neighbor man was like
Yes.
trying to touch Webster's
Yes.
wee or whatever, Yeah. Yeah.
But man, I never watched that show.
Really? No
I
interest?
had no idea that was happening.
I'm going to have to buy you the first season if I see it.
And then
On DVD.
the theme song was absolutely unbearable
I
too.
cannot remember that to save my
Then
life.
came you.
Oh my God, that's right.
You made me look. You made me leap without taking a look.
Oh my God, that's right.
Never thought forever was the best I could do. Then there was you. Oh God.
Wow.
Yeah, that was bad.
You know, I didn't think there was any way to make that theme song worse. Thank you for proving me wrong.
Oh, I have brain cells that are being used up with that.
Yeah, wow.
It's terrible.
I know. Andrea, I was talking to you about this one for a little bit before we went on the air because I had kind of forgotten about it, but kind of not. Do you guys all remember it was on for like 8 episodes, Life with Lucy?
Vaguely.
Oh, God. You can watch it on YouTube. It was like 86.
Yeah,
It was
Really?
on.
It was a September to November
Oh.
TV romance, is how I described it. Very, very short.
Oh, it was so
Starring-
bad.
Lucille Ball.
So-
Lucille
and
Ball.
Lucille
She was on it right before she died.
Yeah.
It
Who
was,
was basically talking like, well, she talked like lung cancer
yeah,
at that point.
she'd been smoking
Right.
for decades.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was a fetus.
Yeah, and she was like 80 years old, moving in with her daughter and her husband and their kids. And it was like, she's like 80 freaking years old, and she's trying to do like this physical comedy stuff.
Who did they
80s.
cast as her daughter? They didn't cast Lucy
I-
Arnaz, did they?
I don't know who the hell it was, but it was just,
God, I
it's,
wouldn't doubt it. I think it was because
I
I
think
know
it was,
Lucy
too.
Arnaz was on TV for
Yeah,
something.
I think it was too.
Oh.
I think it was Lucy Arnaz.
it's the episodes are on YouTube. They're painful to watch. They're just,
And I don't know that I've ever seen an episode. I
And it's
remember
like-
the show, but I don't remember any episodes.
and it's like her voice. Like you say,
Oh,
just,
I know. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was really, really
Yeah.
bad.
oh,
It was very similar to that commercial that you woke up to that one morning.
yeah.
Her voice sounded like she was closing off her tracheotomy to talk.
Right.
Somebody
Yes.
was strangling her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Lucy.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, that's one of those things that didn't last very long. That shouldn't have happened. And What's Happening Now is another one. And that lasted, God, was that even over a season?
That was like a
The
spin-off.
spin-off of What's Happening.
Who
And
was in that one?
no rerun. Roger was
Raj?
there. Who I'm Facebook friends with, by the way.
Roger and his sister.
And no D. No, I think D was on there. Facebook friends with her too.
Yeah, Dee was on it, not Della Reese. The mom wasn't there.
Correct. Yeah, no Mama. She wasn't there anymore either. Yeah, and that didn't last very long. And sometimes those spin-offs are just immediate fails.
Yeah.
Like the Three's Company.
After MASH.
Aftermath is another one. Yeah.
Oh God. That
That's what
Aftermash is another one that if you actually try watching, the episodes are so boring because it's
Really?
like you took
Did they keep
No.
anyone from the cast?
three of the characters, but they're like 3 of the least interesting
Yeah,
characters.
Colonel Potter.
Colonel Potter, the old colonel, the priest, Father Mulcahy,
Father Mulcahy.
and Klinger, Jamie Farr.
And Klinger. There,
And he wasn't.
there was no Trapper John. There was no Trapper
There
John.
was no
on
Hawkeye.
series.
Yeah, no Alan Alda. No Hot Lips.
Yeah.
No Radar. Yeah, no Charles. Nothing.
Just Jamie Farr and his big schnoz.
And he wasn't dressing up as a woman,
The woman
anymore.
anymore, so he's not funny.
No, and it was like they were doing like they were trying to be funny, but they were trying to be serious at the
Yeah.
same time. Like the last several episodes or seasons of MASH, and it just
How long did that last? Do you know?
that went
MASH
2 years.
ended
Did it?
in 83.
Okay.
After MASH lasted 2 seasons.
That's impressive. I mean,
Really?
for a show as
It
bad
did.
as it was. I think What's Happening Now what made the 2-season mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is just crazy in retrospect. But what was the Three's Company spinoff? What was that?
Three's a crowd,
Yes,
Okay.
where Jack got married and
and his
Oh,
father-in-law like moved in with him.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
God, I forgot all about
Yeah.
I did too.
They were like trying to have sex all the time, and their
Yeah.
father and her dad would always like butt in and.
It was so stupid.
What are you two doing? You know.
There's no way that lasted 2 seasons. There's no way.
that. God, what was that other Too Close for Comfort. Ended up with a lot of that.
Monroe.
That show is so stupid.
Monroe.
Yeah.
Oh my
rocks.
god.
We forgot about.
Oh my god.
How did I
yes.
forget about Too Close for
The
Comfort?
interactions between Monroe and Ted Knight just so the only things that kept that thing
Yeah.
alive, really.
'Cause he freaking hated Monroe.
Yeah.
And that was funny. Because Jim J. Bullock was kind of a character.
Jim J.
you
Bullock
know?
is about as flamboyant as Paul Lynde. I mean, they're on the same level, man. There's no mistake and there's no gray area there.
Unfortunately, he wasn't as funny as Paul.
No, he was not.
It's like, at any minute, you were just waiting for Ted Knight just to go, "You flaming homo, get out of my house!" You know, you were just waiting for it to happen at some point because he couldn't stand Monroe.
I remember my brother thought the blonde chick was hot, but I can't remember
Oh
her
God,
name.
she was.
To save my life, I don't know where. Her name
Lydia
was. Is it Lydia?
Lydia Cornell.
Oh God,
Is that
you're
it?
right. Yeah.
She was insanely
You
hot.
remember that?
Yeah. Wow.
What? Do you have brain cells dedicated to anything important?
No,
No, he does not.
that's why I am where I am in life, Mike.
I'll give you another disturbing one. The brunette was in the Warriors.
Yeah.
Was she really?
Yeah, she played Mercy on the cult classic The Warriors from '79.
She was the mattress bag, I believe they called her.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she played Mercy. Yeah.
Mattress
What a
what?
star-studded cast.
But that show, Too Close for Comfort, had one of the great cheesy intros of all time. Remember the theme music? And they had I remember the wife. She had one of those where she was tending to the flowers on the counter, and then she turns around and
Looks at the camera.
yeah. And they had her name.
Oh, look, it's you.
They did the "Oh Look at You" intros
God.
all through the
It's
80s.
so
man.
funny. It is so funny to watch. And then they had that stupid scene at the end of the opening credits where poor Ted Knight goes falling backwards.
Backwards chair.
Oh.
Couch.
Oh, it was so stupid.
Those "Oh Look at
Hey,
You"
this
intros.
opening worked for Dick Van Dyke. Let's have him fall over some furniture.
Right.
And then they also played around with that on the Dick Van Dyke Show a little bit because in some of the intros he goes around the ottoman. He skips around it, and on some of them he falls over it.
Van Dyke's a genius at that shit.
But she, the one that played the wife,
Yeah.
she also ended up in what I consider the worst ever comedy of the 80s, Out of Space, Out to Space.
Oh, that one I was talking about. What was that?
Out of This
Out
World?
Out of this world.
Was
That
the
one. Out of this
half
world.
Julian. And she talked to this glowing box that was supposed
Yeah.
She was in Out of This World?
Out of This World, that's it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember
Yes,
that
the-
show. Yeah, because
The wife,
Andrea and I were talking about this before we went on the air about how it was this teenager whose mother years before had an affair with an alien. This is dead serious. And therefore she had some kind of magical powers where she could stop time by touching her fingers together. And she always talked to that crystal. Mike
you
said.
realize multiple people sat around at a table and agreed on that premise.
Yeah.
At one point in time.
There was a lot of drugs being
And
done
all
with that.
cocaine and
Yeah,
all
lots of coke going through Hollywood in the 80s.
This sounds like a great idea.
Fuck yeah. Let's cash in on that ALF stuff that they got going over there.
Yeah, that show actually, because I had forgotten about that show completely, and then I watched on YouTube the intro for that show, and that's one of those typical
ALF or Out of This World?
Out of This World.
Okay.
That's one of those typical 80 sitcom intros too, where she actually comes through the door where there's a ladder with a bucket of paint on top and knocks down the ladder and the paint.
Oh,
my God. I,
No.
you know, I was just like, no. Really cheesy. And I had not remembered that show until I heard the theme song. And when I heard the theme song, it started coming back to me.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Out of This World.
You don't really see those intros, those, as Mike referred to them as the "Oh Look at You" intros. I think they started in the 50s, though. I remember Cleaver pushing a lawnmower, and he stops and wipes his sweat and looks at the camera and is staring at
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It makes you want to turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then Ward was out there trimming the shrubs. He's like, oh.
And look around, yep, doing dad stuff. Barbara Billingsley brings him lemonade.
Yeah.
God. Those intros are too much, man.
Here's another one that I remembered. And I was talking to Andrea about this. Mike, do you remember the show? It was on for 1 year with these two kind of cute twins called Double Trouble.
Jesus, no, I don't remember.
It was on for like 1 year, 1984. They're twins, right?
Yeah.
And they're both kind of cute. They're
Okay,
real
okay.
twins. And get this, how's this for a premise? One of them was like very reserved,
And the other one's wild. And
the other one's the life of the party type girl. Yeah, where do they come up with this stuff?
kind of like
it's the Patty Duke show.
It's the Patty Duke show.
Except
Yeah,
for sisters.
except they're two people.
Well, they
Yeah,
did that on I Dream of Jeannie. They did it on Bewitched.
Right, yep.
They did that
yeah.
on so many shows.
Oh my God. Yeah. And Mike, I also have brain cells being used up by the fact that the twins' names on the show were Kate and Allison.
You remember their fucking names?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah, because Kate was the fun one and Allison was the more quiet, bookwormy one.
Did they grow up to be Kate and Ellie?
That's what I was
No.
just gonna say too. I was gonna make that joke.
Nope. Well, that was Jane Curtin and Susan St. James.
That's right, it was.
That one's actually on my list too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, and I know
That's
one
not on the
that's
worst list,
They
though.
were a decent.
one that's got to be on everybody's list for fantastic ones. My cousin actually wrote for the show Small Wonder back in the 80s. Yes,
Wow.
it's something to be proud of.
You want to talk about bad syndicated television of the late 80s? Small Wonder might just top them all out. Even the theme song, "She's a Small Wonder."
I think when I was looking online, that was the number one of a lot of the
Oh
most of the
my
worst
God.
lists that I've ever
Okay.
seen.
Brian, tell me you're familiar with the premise of this show. The guy's like a scientist, he's got a family, and he builds. There they
Is
are.
that them?
That's Kate and Allison. Yep.
Oh my god. Oh
Built
my
a
god.
robot
That's
girl.
disturbing.
She really should have won an Emmy for that show.
Sorry.
He builds a robot, like a functioning sentient robot, and like it's the 80s, so instead of like building this robot to look like Heather Thomas or what Kelly Preston or something like that, he makes a little girl. That's not too creepy.
I think maybe
Oh,
about that.
seriously.
Oh,
I never thought about it like that. But she couldn't get wet.
What's that?
Build
What?
robots.
She couldn't get wet.
she couldn't get wet. That's true.
Her face would melt, which was terrifying. As a child watching this show, when she would melt or when she would get wet, she would like melt.
She was
I don't
like,
remember
You
that.
don't remember that?
No.
Oh God, I do. That was like
Oh.
terrifying.
I remember sparking.
Okay.
That she'd
Something.
get
She
sparks
was
coming
just-
out of her neck.
And then they had to like take her head off or something and push a button to
Yes.
like reset her.
Oh,
You guys remember Square Pegs?
Yeah.
that's not on the bad show list though.
No. Did you ever watch that? Did you remember
Just
that
in
at all?
reruns.
Okay.
I don't think it
that the
lasted that
80s?
long.
I don't think it lasted. Yeah, it's 80s. I don't think
Sarah
it didn't.
Jessica
No, it didn't
Parker.
last very long. Yeah.
That's where not Sarah Michelle Gellar. Dang
Sarah
it.
Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, Sarah Jessica Parker. John Cusack's wife.
Yeah.
Are they still married?
What?
Or no,
What?
Broderick.
Broderick.
Roderick.
Roderick.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I got the wrong nerd from the 80s.
Watch it next time. Yeah, I didn't have that one. I remembered that one though after I made my list.
How about the A-Team?
But that's another
Action.
That's action. That's
Yeah.
not sitcom.
Comedy.
Yeah. There were a lot of those in that time.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
That's a dumb
We need to
show.
do a show on those dumb shows too.
Yeah, that was a dumb show.
Remington Steel can come up first if we do it.
So
What else did you have for sitcoms, Andrea?
I got a lot.
I mean, for like bad
For
ones.
bad ones, we've already touched After MASH. Since we've mentioned Out of This World,
How about It's a Living?
We talked about that one.
Because, believe it or not, Scott Baio had some kind of hand in the creation or production or this show existing out of this world, the one with the
really?
alien. So we'll
I
go
can
ahead.
believe that.
And he's got actually 3 shows on this list. So there's Jody Loves Chachi.
I blame Scott Baio for anything bad that's ever happened.
Looks like it lasted a season from 82 to 83. And then Charles in Charge, which amazingly lasted 6 years from 84
It was a
to
popular
90.
show.
It was a
Yeah.
terrible
That's
show.
just because
The people like that one.
guys my age had the hots for what's her name, the blonde gal,
Oh, I remember who you're talking about.
the one
yeah.
who played Jamie. Why can't I remember her damn? Nicole Eggert.
Yeah.
Everybody was in love with Nicole Eggert.
Well, I remember Willie Ames later said that Scott Baio was just a dick on the show.
Oh,
Yeah, it was horrible to work with. He was a bully.
I could
There's
I
a
can see
shocker.
that. Yeah.
because he came off as a dick on that
Oh, yeah.
Scott Baio is 40 and single show.
Like I said, I blame him for everything that's ever happened to him. Ever. Chachi was responsible.
Well, I remember I was so young when Joni Loves Chachi came out. I remember just staring at the TV at the opening credits where Joni and Chachi are singing in that nightclub together and just being completely confused because I'm like, where's the Fonz? You know?
Right.
Where are Mr. and Mrs. C? What's
Right.
going on?
What's going on? Where's Ralph?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I was just confused.
It was. I think it confused a lot of people that they actually attempted to spin off from that show with those characters.
And
Right.
that theme song.
Not like Laverne and Shirley or Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
Right.
Mike, do you remember the theme song for Joni Loves Chachi called When You Look at Me?
Is that the one they're singing, looking at each other with
Yeah.
the like face to face singing it? Yeah.
Oh, Mike,
Yeah.
Mike. When we get done with the show, go on YouTube and just watch the opening credits to Joni Loves Chachi. It will make you want to jump out a window.
Unfortunately, I live in a ranch.
Does he have that
Style
jean
house.
jacket?
No.
He's not wearing the jean jacket in that opening credits? Okay.
And he can't sing.
No, he didn't want to sing.
No.
Baio did not want to sing. Gary Marshall urged him to sing and do
On
something.
Happy Days
on Happy
first.
Days, yeah.
And then they took their show. Him and Joni took their show on the road to Chicago for Joni Loves Chachi. But
Once you told me that, because you're the one who told me that, I was really surprised because Baio says he doesn't want to sing, so you're going to urge him to sing and then make a show out of him and his band?
yeah,
The guy's already said he doesn't want to sing.
he couldn't sing.
You're making him in a band and then spin it off.
And yeah, because he was on that Happy Days reunion special.
Yeah.
And he must have gotten paid beyond that thing. 'Cause he didn't want to be there. He's
So
just
you could tell he was annoyed.
he sat there going. I told him. I went to Gary and I said, just please, just don't make me sing. I can't sing. And everybody else on the panel is laughing. He was not laughing.
Yeah, he wasn't amused.
Gary Marshall was like, "Oh, Scott,
Those were the days.
yeah."
Yeah.
And Baio's just like, "I freaking told him, man, I can't sing." Like he's still embarrassed by
He's
the
still
footage.
holding on to some anger over it.
I'm gonna make a quick adjustment. I'm sorry. Mike, you're blocking Brian.
Oh, can't have that. You're making me dizzy.
I'm sorry.
You're making me dizzy.
What did you talk about? It's a living.
We Andrea and I
Oh, okay,
talked about
not the
It's
show.
a Living,
Okay.
where they those girls that worked in
Waitresses,
the waitresses
Yes.
above that hotel, I think it was.
And Jillian was the star.
Yeah.
Did anybody watch that?
I did.
Did you?
like that
I
show.
saw a few episodes. I don't remember that much
It
of that.
didn't last that long, and I don't even think I put it on my list.
It was just one of those shows that I think I saw a couple of episodes like late at night when like the babysitter was there on a Saturday night, I think it was on when my parents were out to eat
Okay.
and there was just a bunch of crappy TV on.
Yeah.
Which was usual for any night in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
So
The one that I remember my mother making us watch was She's the Sheriff.
Oh, God.
Oh my God! That wasn't Suzanne Summers was
Yes,
it
it was
It
Suzanne Summers.
as a sheriff in a southern town.
God.
Yeah, her husband was the sheriff and died. So, as is the legal process, his
Exactly.
wife, his widow, ended up inheriting the sheriff's job, at which it happens.
Yeah,
You know.
great premise.
And wasn't it? Didn't it have the same guy that played Enos?
Did it? I don't remember.
It had somebody who was basically the exact same character as Enos.
Yeah,
Quite possibly. When was Step by Step? Is that 80s?
that was like TGIF, early '90s.
Was it
believe,
early
when that
90s?
started. Yeah, like
Okay.
1990-ish.
Okay.
with
Okay. Patrick Duffy.
He's Patrick Duffy.
There was a lot of bad shows on at that
Yeah,
time too.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bad shows.
So also on this list here, we've got Perfect Strangers. It's interesting to know what side you are on when it comes to Perfect Strangers, if you think it was a good show or a bad show, because it did
That wouldn't go
last
bad for me.
quite some time, from
I was
86
going to say,
to
I thought it was
93.
6-year run. What
Yeah.
was it?
See,
86 to 93. I never cared for it. I thought Belky was just too
I thought
annoying.
it sucked. I hated
And
it.
the other guy
And I wanted
was
to kill the
just-
two guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted them dead.
I kind of liked it when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but I was too young to know
I was
any
going
better.
to say, Mike and I were at an age where we were probably annoyed at the commercials for it.
You were old enough to be critical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me,
Yeah,
I just
because it had he was the most annoying straight man ever. in
Yes.
comedy.
Larry,
God,
cousin,
yes.
cousin Larry.
He
Yeah,
was. He was so annoying.
yeah, he was an idiot.
He was. Yeah. It wasn't Bronson's fault. It was more the other guy. You're right.
Yeah,
Incredibly annoying.
And about 10 years ago, on at Nick at Night, I was at my parents' place, and I was flipping channels, and that show came on, and oh my God, it was awful. It was so awful.
I knew its run was pretty lengthy though,
It was.
because it got fairly good ratings.
And I knew people who liked
Yeah,
the show,
well,
but I never did.
good ratings does not equal good show.
Yeah.
No, it does not. It does not.
And I guess it's hard to say where to go after that. But then Mama's Family. Do you remember that one?
Mama is
Oh,
the most
Mama's
annoying
Family was-
character in the history of television.
It was on Carol Burnett. When it was
Yeah.
on Carol Burnett's
Yeah.
show, I
The
mean,
Family.
it was funny.
Yeah.
It was, it was a
Because they
sketch.
weren't building a show around
Right.
her.
And then in what was it, in 1984, there was its own show, but it was canceled.
No Eunice. It was just Mama.
She
Right.
made appearances.
She did
on
make
that,
appearances.
yeah.
Yes.
Every now and then.
Yeah, Eunice made a couple of appearances.
So did Betty White.
But it was canceled right away. And then there was I guess,
As it should have been.
but then there was a public kind of
Outrage.
They
Bring Mama
wanted it
back.
back.
It came back in
Right.
syndication.
Yeah, 86 to 90, the
Yeah.
new shows in production.
Yeah.
They brought the,
Oh my.
Because I used to watch it all the time.
yeah.
I used to watch Mama's Family all the
I
time
mean,
when I was a kid.
to think that the cast and crew of Mama's Family got together and said, "The public wants us back. Let's do it."
Yeah.
It is amazing to me. That's astounding to me.
It's on MeTV now.
Is it?
Really?
Every night at 5 o'clock, for an
Oh.
hour, you can watch Mama's Family on MeTV.
I'll put it this way: I liked Vicki Lawrence until that show,
Yeah.
and then I just started hating her.
Yeah.
I hated that character so much.
She was so goddamn shrill.
Yeah, and not that
Well,
funny. It just
Mama's
wasn't funny.
Family was a great bit on the Carol Burnett show, but it was
Yes.
not strong enough to hold an entire show.
Yeah.
You're
I
right.
know.
It's exactly what the problem was.
It's
You're right. It was a very funny skit on that show.
it was like taking the premise of like a 7-minute skit off Saturday Night Live and making a movie out of it. You know,
Right, right.
Like Night at the
Yeah,
Roxbury.
like Night at the
Night at the Roxbury. I mean,
it's Pat the movie.
and Coneheads. Although my son Preston says Coneheads is his top 10 all-time movie.
Yeah, my 9-year-old daughters love that.
Coneheads.
Yes.
But you can't take every bit and turn it into a movie, and sometimes people think they can, and it
Yeah.
just doesn't work.
The Love Guru.
It's not effective.
Superstar with Holly Shannon.
Oh God.
Oh my God, that's
Remember that one?
right.
They made a goddamn movie out of the
Jesus.
superstar chick,
That's
which I never
right.
laughed at that skit.
No, it
once.
wasn't funny at all.
I never laughed at the skit.
No,
once.
her
No,
the armpits
never.
and the smell. I mean, none of it was funny.
Right.
They could have turned those cheerleaders into a
Surprised they didn't.
better than that one.
Sherry O'Terry and Will Ferrell. I'm surprised they didn't make a
Exactly.
movie out of that.
I always dug Sherry O'Terry in that cheerleader outfit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I always dug Will Ferrell in that Just kidding.
Anyway, we're getting off track.
What else you got?
We
The
got
80s stuff.
uh,
You got any more borderline shows like that?
What about Bosom Buddies?
we've got shit, I forgot that one on my list.
You know
Never
what?
definitely go on the good.
Buddy.
Hey,
Take
Mike.
Billy Joel's song and fuck it up by putting it to the soundtrack to that goddamn show.
Mike. A couple
I
of
love
summers
that show.
ago.
It was the birth of Tom Hanks and
True.
Yes.
that other guy.
No, Mike Scolari.
Yes.
Michael Scolari. Peter Scolari. I'm
He's
sorry.
He's like the other guy in Wham.
Yeah.
Andrew Ridgely. Yeah.
But I saw Bosom Buddies a couple of summers ago
Funny?
it was on one of those retro TV channels.
Funny?
Once you got to the second season, the first season was lame because the
Right.
first season was all about them dressing up as women
Not
to
getting
get into.
caught.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The second season, all the women in the hotel were then in on the secret,
Right.
and it
Yeah, except
concent-
for the house mother.
and it concentrated way more on the characters and the interactions with each other, and the writing got way sharper
Right.
and wackier,
Really?
and it was funny.
Yeah.
I was like-
It's a good show.
Yeah.
I was like, this show is freaking funny. The
I
first
actually
season,
like Bosom Buddies a lot.
I
the
do
first
too.
season was lame because all they were doing was the ha ha ha, we're men dressing as women shit,
Right.
and it wasn't that funny.
Maybe that's why I never watched it, because of the first season.
And then it got good, and then it got canceled.
Huh. I remember Tom Hanks on Family Ties, too.
Uncle Ned.
Uncle Ned, that's right.
Really?
The drunk, he was the alcoholic, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
We'll get into Family Ties. If I
We'll have to get into that.
Yeah.
So, on the in-between list, we already touched on Webster. I didn't know where to put that. We had My Two Dads. Do you remember that show? That one didn't. That lasted. Like
Oh, the
87
girl
to
was
90,
the girl
yeah.
was cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Reiser was on it.
Yeah, Paul Reiser was on.
Oh
that
my
show.
God, was the other dad Greg Evigan from BJ and the Bear?
He had a beard. He had a
Did he?
short beard. Yeah.
Short beard?
He was like the wacky dad. Paul Reiser was kind of the more straight guy.
To look it up.
Here, Mike. Do you remember the premise of My Two Dads? They
No,
weren't
I
gay.
never figured out how the heck it
Well, there
became the
was-
two of them.
The girl's mother slept with both of them. I
Yeah.
think it was, and she didn't know
Well,
who
they
the father
didn't know
was.
who the father was.
It
It's
was
like-
one of the two.
Have you freaking morons ever heard of paternity tests?
Right. And I think they did do that in an episode, but they didn't open it. They didn't want to know because you're our daughter, you're my daughter, you're my daughter
Okay.
no matter
Oh my
what.
God, I was right. It was Greg Evigan,
Yeah.
the star of BJ and the Bear.
Yeah. Great show.
Yeah.
So there was
Yeah,
that
I'm
one.
sure that show was awful if you watch it today.
It didn't last that. Yeah, it probably didn't hold up very well. And
I
then-
just watched it because I thought the girl was kind of hot. I was that age, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like 12.
I can't remember her name.
No, I don't remember either.
And then the other one that I had on the list was Mr. Belvedere.
Okay.
I watched Mr. Belvedere all the time.
Did you really? So did so did Amy.
Ugh.
She watched that show a lot too.
But Amy and I were that age.
Age,
Yeah.
both born the same year. True.
Streaks on the China
I couldn't
never
watch it.
mattered before.
I couldn't.
Who
Just no way.
cares? I can sing the whole theme song from Mr. Belvedere.
I think
I,
you
I
like
could
all
never
of
take
them
it
for a
seriously
lot.
simply because of the old
Well, a lot of
Bugs
stuff,
Bunny
a lot of
cartoon.
shows there.
It had that guy with the huge mustache, not Yosemite Sam, because he had a white mustache, and he had a dog, and you'd always say, "Belvedere, come here, boy."
Oh, that's.
Oh, I
right.
remember that. Yeah, that was funny. The old Southern guy. Yeah, Belvedere, come here, boy. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
So I always expected that in the show, and nobody ever did it.
Bob Euchre
Yeah.
was the dad on
Bob
Mr.
Euchre
Belvedere.
was on that one.
Yeah.
that's right.
Mr. Baseball.
That show lasted a while. That was a fairly
Like
popular
4
show.
years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
85 to 90. So
85 to 90.
85 to
Mr.
90.
Belvedere, yeah.
Wow.
Jeez,
Yep.
Disturbing, isn't it?
no doubt. No,
Punky Brewster. How long did Punky go?
Couple of seasons, I think.
Think that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Boy, she ended up hot.
Oh, Salil Moon Fry.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I remember years later when they had
I think I saw it on Geraldo or something.
Jenny Jones.
Yeah, maybe that's
It was in the mid '90s.
Yeah.
Because she had this dress on and she had like this black top on and this. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I know.
She was hot.
Yeah, Punky got hot.
So, what was the one that, what's her name that's on The Big Bang Theory used to be on? The one that plays Sheldon's girlfriend.
That was Square Pegs. She was on
Oh,
Square
no,
Pegs.
no.
Blossom.
Blossom.
Oh,
Yeah,
Blossom.
I don't even know how to say
Whoa.
her name.
Oh, Bialik.
Whoa.
Yeah, Maya Bialik.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Joey.
But Blossom, I think, was more 90s.
90s.
I meant to look that up to see what year it started, but I think that was more of a phenomenon in
For the 90s.
And
Yeah.
her friend Six became a butt model.
That's right. Hey, who would you rather watch get murdered? Chachi or Joey from fucking
Oh
Blossom?
God.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Oh.
If he does that, whoa! I gotta
Oh.
go Joey really fast,
Whoa.
no question.
Oh. Yeah, he was annoying.
No, that
Chachi
Joey
was. What's
was-
that?
Was he?
What?
I thought that Joey was the one that went, whoa.
He was. Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, he was.
I was thinking of the stupid boyfriend on Family Ties.
Oh, Nick.
Oh, Nick, yeah.
No, he went. Hey,
Hey,
Hey.
hey, Mallory.
It's a fine distinction.
Well,
Yeah, Nick.
And then I have two more on my worst list. Although
Okay.
my best list, I guess it's debatable, and
Sure.
that's fine.
we'll get into that.
We have Max Headroom, which lasted 87 to 88, which, you know, there you're based on a TV show off a Pepsi commercial.
Yeah.
Wasn't it not?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly what it
Coke.
was.
Was it Coke?
Because he said catch the wave. Catch the wave. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Hey guys, let's make a whole sitcom out of that.
Out of Max
I
Headroom.
remember something about a van, and that was like Max's Central, where the kids, whoever were, you know, that's how.
yeah, but I think Max Headroom was another one of those action ones.
Could be.
Because they.
I don't think it was a sitcom.
Oh, wasn't it?
You know what's funny is that we really do need to do a show on this because I've come up with so many so far that are in the action genre.
Oh, yeah.
But I think of them as comedies because they're
Action
so
shows.
fucking stupid.
Well,
Right.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
You know,
Riptide, Remington Steele. I mean, God, there's a bunch.
the Fall Guy.
Yes.
Yeah. A-Team.
And then I
Oh,
suppose
come on.
that.
Riptide? You think that was bad?
Airwolf.
Airwolf. Oh my God, that's right.
Oh, and then.
Manimal.
Manimal.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That show lasted about 2 days, I think.
And what was the another one that I loved? Not Ultraman, but it had that guy in a glowing blue computer suit.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it.
Something for that. I think was it the one that was like. There were two that I saw on lists that looked like that, and there was one that was kind of based on the Tron. movies,
Yeah,
and then there was another one. I don't remember the names though.
The 80s seemed to. They did that a lot. People would take something and make it into a series and fail. That seemed to happen more in the 80s, I think, than any other decade.
Casablanca.
And I can think of. What?
David Soul. He was in the show Casablanca for 1 year.
Oh my God.
They made a show out of it. It was like a prequel to the movie.
Wow. You're
Da-
right.
David's-
Oh my God.
David.
David Soul was Humphrey Bogart.
Yes.
Don't,
Yeah.
Don't give up on me, baby.
Yeah. David Soul, Bogey. Yeah, same
guy.
same diff. Yeah.
And then I guess
But-
a later show that. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was going to say, what after everything that we've just ripped apart, what could possibly be on your best of list?
Oh, there's
Well,
stuff.
plenty, but let's finish this real quick. Got a couple
Alright.
more. There's a later one that I don't know. I considered the show terrible. Would never watch it. Just hated even like
But it
seeing
was-
just like a second
but it
of
was
it
popular?
starting. Oh yeah, Full House.
Oh yeah.
1987 to 1995.
Oh, wow.
I've been not even seen
That
just the
show
beginning
has
week of
camp
that
value.
show.
That show has already spun off. There's Fuller
Well,
Houses
it's
on now.
revival.
I can't
Netflix
believe that.
now they brought it back and
I
they did
do.
that.
Brianna and Mike and Preston and Cash, all three of my kids became obsessed with that show to the point where we bought them the whole series
Oh,
for like
Oh,
$69, and they've watched all of them.
Oh my
Isn't
God.
that crazy?
Oh,
I had no desire, zero desire to ever watch
me
it.
too.
Yeah.
You got it, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, stop it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just go away.
Well, she was a terrible actress.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was
They all
awful.
were.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And then Uncle Joey doing Bullwinkle.
Which one was a terrible actress?
Which one?
All
Oh,
the girls,
God.
all the girls on that show were terrible
Yeah.
to begin with.
yeah.
And then what's his face?
How rude.
Yeah.
The Olsen twin.
And then I
Yes.
can't remember the guy's name.
Bob Saget.
Bob
Terrible.
Saget.
Terrible. And the guy who played
I love Saget. John
Cousin-
Stamos' hair was ridiculous.
Cousin
uh,
Joey, who was that played by?
That's Dave Coulier.
Dave Coulier,
The
yeah.
guy that Alanis Morissette wrote her jagged little pill over. You know that was the guy?
What?
Yes, that
She
was
went
the
down
guy.
on him in a theater.
Yeah, that was the guy that sparked her and spurred
Really?
that whole
That was Dave Coulier she
Bitter-
was singing about, yeah.
bitter little-
In-
Most likely.
In real life?
Yes.
Most likely, that's who it was.
That's so
That's what I
gross.
heard.
They don't know
Bizarre.
for sure, but most
Really?
likely it was, yeah.
Of all the people on that show to get a blow from Alanis Morissette, Dave Coulier's not
Yeah.
the one to come up with it. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, that feels
Well,
really
John
good.
Stamos
Ooh.
ended up being married to Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and his wife Lori Loughlin on the show, she was hot too. Aunt Becky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Lori Loughlin.
Hey, I got one real quick, Andy, before you go into a show. Anybody remember the Ropers?
Yeah, but that was
Yeah.
70.
79, 80.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that did not last
No,
that long.
it lasted 1 year.
That was awful.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I brought it up. It's 79, 1980.
Company.
That was it. Yep.
That's right. That was another
Yeah,
spin-off of
Yep.
this company.
I think if they hadn't just spun that off, Three's Company would have lasted longer because Don Knotts just wasn't as good.
No,
Mr. Furley.
no.
I saw where he would be standing outside of the door like Jack and somebody else would be taking something that was taken sexually, and there Don Knotts is standing there with his hand to his ear outside of the door making those faces like
I don't know what point it was when I was a kid, but there was some point where I just could not watch Three's Company anymore because something clicked in my head, and I don't know if this was when I started to become aware as a person, but every single fucking episode of Three's Company was the same plot.
Plots.
It was
Yeah.
a misunderstanding. Yeah.
Always a
Like, I
misunderstanding.
Jack's got
Somebody-
2 dates on
Yeah.
the same night.
Jack's got
Yes.
he's having a run from one date to another on the same night. Yeah, somebody eavesdrops, hears the wrong thing,
Yeah.
thinks the wrong thing for the whole episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, but that was it. I mean, that was a standard for Gilligan's Island. That was a standard for so many different types of shows.
Yeah.
The formula worked. I mean,
Yeah.
with that cast.
Yeah. Yeah, because the show was produced in such a way that if you shut your brain off,
Yeah.
you could sit and laugh at it. You
Sure.
could sit and get
Oh
laughs
yeah.
out of it.
You're not going to
Yeah.
learn anything from it. No.
Yeah.
You're not going to get educated by Mr. Furley.
Right. And the last one I have on my worst list, the creme of the creme. I have Elf.
Oh, Alf?
Elf
I watched Alf every damn week
from 86 to 90.
when I was a kid.
That made it that long, huh?
Yeah, it did. Which I found surprising myself.
With the premise of a puppet that wanted to eat cats.
Eat cats, yeah.
I got a very confusing one here. Do you guys remember this lasted 5 years? We've got it made?
I was just talking to
Yeah.
Andrea about
Really?
that.
I don't remember this. Picture 2 college guys living together as roommates. Then picture them getting a sexy female live-in maid to clean up
Yeah.
their nasty apartment.
Yeah.
I picture it now.
Oh my
It was
god.
the only
remember
reason
it.
that show lasted a season is because the
5
blonde
years.
because the
What's
blonde
What's that?
was insanely hot.
Yeah,
That's it.
she
Maybe that
and,
was
and
the
she
same chick.
is.
That's not the same chick who replaced Chrissy.
No.
The other one.
No.
I thought there was an in between. They had Chrissy left.
They did, Cindy.
Okay, and then the one that they ended
Terry.
up with Terry. Okay, so
Yeah.
that wasn't
Terry,
Cindy.
which was Chrissy's sister.
Correct.
That wasn't That wasn't Cindy.
No, no.
Okay.
No.
I was wrong.
Similar though.
That's what I thought it was. But I don't remember that show at all.
I don't either.
Not.
I mean, not a bit.
I remember
I
the
don't remember
theme
anything
song,
about it. I don't remember anything about it.
You know what's weird about Alf?
That guy ended up smoking crack and making out with black guys. And,
Oh, that dude was weird. Yeah, the guy who played the father. Yeah, that was a very sad case.
he's like making out with homeless black guys while
Yeah,
smoking
smoking crack and everything. But Alf, the very last episode of Alf, it was like they weren't sure if it was coming back, so they ended the season on a cliffhanger where Alf was going to meet like a ship and get taken back to Melmac. But the FBI or something found out about him, and the FBI catches him at the end of the episode, and it says something like "to be continued,"
It never was.
Really?
and they never brought it back.
Back.
So apparently Alf probably spent out the rest of his years getting dissected and getting all sorts of weird tests run on him.
Well,
And
I feel like we deserve Alf
You know,
comeback.
Barry,
Because it wasn't should be.
Alf needs to come back and let us know what
they
happened.
like harvested Alf's sperm and did all sorts of weird experiments on him and everything. Had him crossbreed with different
Rectal
species.
penetration.
Yeah, probing him. Ha!
See how you like it.
Any other bad ones?
Well, I'm just thinking. I was just thinking, coming to mind. In my mom, I know a lot of what we watched as kids is a lot of what she liked to watch. There was Give Me a Break.
Oh, Nell Carter, yeah.
Nell Carter. That was one of her favorites.
I remember that
don't
show.
Remember, I didn't look that up. I don't remember what.
Because
year
she
it
sang
was
the
in.
theme song on that
Yeah.
one too.
She sure did.
Yeah, and then.
Dead. She did.
Yeah.
Okay, she did. So, and then I can't remember when this came out, but there was Valerie's Family. Valerie
Yeah, then
was
it's
spun off
Hogan's
of,
family.
Yeah.
but then it turned into
It turned into the Hogan
Hogan
family
Family,
because
and-
Sandy Duncan came on the show.
right. But
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
a spin-off of
Because Valerie Harper had a big
yeah.
contract dispute.
Jason Bateman was
Jason
on
Bateman.
that. Yeah.
Sandy Duncan, she's not annoying at all.
Yeah.
God almighty.
I remember her doing Triscuit commercials.
I do too. I
I
do too.
couldn't think of anything other than that she was famous for.
Here's
Not really.
Here is a show, you guys, that was popular, that started in the 80s, went into the 90s, that I hated. Family Matters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No interest.
Dude.
None. That was more of a 90s. When did it start?
Late 80s.
Late 80s.
Okay,
yeah.
It was.
Oh my God.
Really.
I think it
Steve
might have even
Urkel.
been 89, and that's probably why I didn't.
I think it was 89. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Urkel wasn't funny
No.
at all.
He
He
was-
was like their Fonzie. He was their go-to character.
I
He wasn't funny, but he
No.
carried the entire show.
Right.
Which is how bad this show
How bad
was.
the show was.
Yeah.
I was in love with Laura, and I still am. I'd marry her right now. That
The
chick
sister?
was just fucking gorgeous.
The one that Urkel had
Urkel,
the
the
hots
one that he
for,
had the
yeah.
hots for, yeah. God, other than that, it was the cop from Die Hard.
Yeah.
Remember, because
Yep.
everyone had liked him in Die Hard. So
Yep.
Hey, put him in a sitcom, it'll work, it'll be magic.
Because originally it was just supposed to be him and the family.
Before Urkel.
Urkel was just kind of the annoying neighbor that popped by once in a
Correct.
while.
Yep.
And then a couple of years in, it's all Urkel.
All Urkel. He
Yeah.
wanted to see Urkel. It was not funny at
It
all.
wasn't funny at all. It was
Not whatsoever.
stupid.
Yeah, really bad.
That was about the time where I started getting should I say taste, or I started
Critiquing things a little bit.
yeah, I started critiquing the quality of things, and I'm like sitting there trying to tell my friends, I'm like, this show sucks.
Yeah.
This show's terrible.
This is not
Yeah.
funny.
He's not funny.
I did a lot of drugs at that time in my life, and I still didn't watch that show.
I was gonna say I did tons of drugs during that period. I was about 18 or 19, so yeah.
I'm stoned off my ass,
Yeah.
and I still can't even get a chuckle out
Yeah.
of this show.
No, it just wasn't funny.
It's not.
It was an over-the-top nerd. I mean, there was nothing
Yeah.
realistic about it. It
No.
was just dumb.
Yeah, his pants were up halfway,
Right, it was-
halfway to his knees. He had suspenders. His pants were like halfway up to his
You
armpits.
couldn't take it seriously enough to laugh at it.
No.
You have to make it somewhat realistic.
No, exactly.
Otherwise, it's
It was
out of
too
this
over the
world.
top. Yeah, it was too over the top.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's move on to our best, and I'm going to start
This will be interesting.
shows that started in the 70s and then
When in
ended,
the 80s?
ended in the early
Sure.
80s. We have, let's see, let's go chronologically as best we
Quite a
can.
few of those.
Chronologically.
As best we can. So we
MASH.
have,
Yeah, MASH has got to be
yeah,
on that
MASH
list.
started in 72, which is unbelievable.
Went to 83.
Went to 83.
That's jumping. That's
Yeah.
jumping
crazy.
total time periods there.
Yeah. And huge.
It lasted longer than the war.
Right.
It lasted
Yeah.
like
A few times.
3 times as
Yeah.
long as the freaking
Yeah.
war.
The final episode for MASH was just huge.
Still the highest one.
Yeah.
1984, wasn't it?
I
Three.
have 83.
It was 83?
I-
Okay.
I just watched that a couple of months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
They had it on ETV one night.
Like
Yeah.
a 2-hour special or
Yeah, it was a
something
movie.
like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have MASH, which, of course, let's make more funny.
Well, see, it started off like that.
Yeah.
You watch the early episodes from like the first few
Right.
seasons. They're so different in tone.
Which, of course, MASH was one
Started
of the
out as a
TV
movie.
series that
Yeah.
was based on a movie. And the
With
movie
Elliot
was
Gould.
just
Yeah.
fucking brilliant. The
And-
movie itself.
And the show was so like politically incorrect
Right.
and everything in its
Yeah.
first few years.
Yeah.
There was like they're making
Didn't they have Spear Chucker Jones?
a doctor. They had a black doctor named Spear Chucker
Holy shit, are you serious?
on the show. That was his
Yeah.
nickname. Yeah.
Oh my god.
There was Mike. I saw an episode a while back from like the first or second season where this psychiatrist thought that Hot Lips had the hots for him. And he waited in her tent for her.
Yes.
And he's waiting in her bed with the lights off. She goes in to her bed, and
The
he's
balding Jew with the Hitler mustache.
And-
or,
and-
I mean, the disco mustache.
he's grabbing her, and she's like screaming,
Right.
and it's being played for laughs.
Right.
Trapper comes
Yeah.
into the tent, and he's just like, and she's like, help me, and Trapper's like, oh, I thought there was something going on in here, and he turns the light out and walks out,
Yeah.
and it's played for laughs.
Wow.
The laugh track is going off and everything.
Trapper John, that's a spin-off.
Yeah.
That was a drama.
Yeah,
later
I was gonna
on.
say that's one off into a
Trapper
drama.
John MD. Yeah.
Major drama. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy drama.
And then, let's see, MASH in 78. There was a few of them that started in 78. That 82, 83. So let's start with Taxi.
Taxi.
Oh, I love
Danny
Taxi.
One of the most well-written comedies ever on
Yeah,
television.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Taxi. Yeah.
That one was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito was great.
Rita Palmer.
Oh, Danny DeVito was so phenomenal.
Andy
And
Kaufman.
Judd Hirsch was like
yes.
one of the best straight men
He was
ever on
great. Judd Hirsch
a
was
comedy.
Brilliant.
Alex.
Yeah. Jeff Conway was
He couldn't
great.
carry his own show when he was giving it.
Dear John.
John.
Dear John.
I forgot about that show. I used to watch Dear
I
John. Yeah.
watched that one too.
Reverend Jim.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jim.
All
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Watching the reruns of Taxi a few years ago, there's so many drug jokes on that show.
Oh. Yeah.
Remember? Do you guys remember the episode Latka's Cookies?
Oh yeah.
The secret ingredient in Latka's grandmother's cookies was frickin' cocaine.
Yeah, that's right.
And everybody was getting hooked on his
Everyone was getting
cookies.
hooked on coke. Yeah.
Yeah. And Latka went through cocaine withdrawal in the last scene,
Yeah.
and he has a hallucination where Famous Amos, the real guy, Famous Amos, dropped down from the stage, the top of the stage, and had a conversation with Latka. He's like, "Oh, bummer about your cookies, man."
there were a lot of drug references in that show with Christopher Lloyd and with
Christopher Lloyd snorted a piece of the cookie.
that's right, he did.
Yeah,
And of course his character had a major drug history anyway.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. He was a flake.
He was right, and they did. I think they did flashback episode of his character.
Tom
didn't
Hanks
they?
was in that.
Yes, that's right.
The first time he ever tried
They're like
pot
in a
college.
fraternity or
Yeah.
something.
It was hilarious
Yeah.
too.
And then we had Mary Lou Henner was in that as well.
Mary Lou Henner,
Yeah.
Tony Danza,
Jeff Conway,
Ew.
Who played Blanca's wife? She's awesome.
Carol Kane.
Carol Kane from
Carol
When a
Kane,
Stranger
yeah.
Calls.
When a
Yeah.
Stranger Calls.
Yes.
That's right.
She's one of my favorites.
She's
And,
great.
and of
She's
course,
great.
Miracle Max's wife.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could ever say anything bad about Taxi. There's just no way.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just a great
I like
show.
that show.
It's a
Yeah,
very well written, well put together show.
great theme song too.
Great theme song.
Angela,
Yeah.
it was called.
Only you would know that.
It was called
Yeah.
Angela.
I've heard of that. I've heard that on the radio
Yeah.
before. It's it's a cool tune.
Okay, so moving on 78 to 82, we have WKRP in Cincinnati.
Great theme song on that one as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
That one I remember. Yeah, that was an awesome
Another
show.
one with a character that was heavily drug oriented.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't
Was that Fever?
Johnny Fever.
Right.
Dr. Johnny Fever.
Howard Hessman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's booga.
I always thought Lonnie Anderson was a bit overrated as a hot blonde. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, she did nothing for me at
Yeah.
all.
She was probably too old.
I kind
Yeah, it
of.
was,
Maybe.
you guys just weren't at the right age yet.
Categories of
That's
hot
true,
blonde.
that's
She was
true.
Probably
Yeah.
a little bit more aged.
I kind of like Bailey better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did too. I did too.
I admit I was a Bailey guy too, but Lonnie Anderson really made the intelligence of her hot blonde.
Oh, she was a wise ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
She
And
was-
she knew how to use everything that she had.
Yes, that's true.
She did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, she was smart. Yep.
Then her and Burt Reynolds got married, and they both started getting plastic surgery every week, and they became the scariest couple I've ever seen in my life.
That was one of the worst celebrity
Oh, I
divorces
know.
of all time,
God.
too.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, then you
Their
had
looks just shot down.
Venus Flytrap.
WKRP had the greatest Thanksgiving show of
Yes.
any TV show.
Yes.
Oh, the thing with the turkeys.
Turkeys.
Were they in a helicopter?
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
That's right. The turkey drop. That's right. Yeah.
With Les Nessman out there in the parking lot. Oh, the horror!
The newsman. Yeah. Les Nessman. Yep. Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch that
His-
show again sometime.
His office was just electrical tape on the floor.
I gotta watch that show
I
again
haven't seen that in
sometime.
years. It was a
I
good
know.
show.
Yeah.
Good theme song, too.
Also, 78 to 82, we have Mark and Mindy with
Yep.
Mork and
Robin
Mindy was like
Williams,
Sam Dauber.
Pam Dauber.
that show was good for like the first season.
And that's
And then
about it,
later,
man.
Yeah.
Later, who was Mark's son? Who was that played by?
Jonathan
Jonathan
Winters.
Winters.
He did great. but
Jonathan Winters.
in that regard.
And he was great as that character. But
Yeah.
Craig's
The
right.
character
The
made
show.
no sense.
Craig's right. Though the show only
Yeah.
went so far,
Yeah. It was good for like the first season.
and that's it. And
It lasted longer than it should have.
yeah, it was.
Yes.
It was very limited with laughs. I mean, you couldn't get that much out of that character.
Well, I remember Robin Williams saying one time that they had something in one of the later seasons where Mork did something. Did he dress in some women's clothing or something like that? And he said at that point, he's like, I knew we were in trouble. He said, because at some point, he said, in the first season, he goes, Mork is a fish out of water.
Right.
He
Right.
does not understand things going on Earth. And that's what makes it funny.
Right.
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 He said, at some point, if you have Mork keep doing that shit, he just turns into an idiot.
Right.
True.
Because he's like,
because
ruins
he's
it.
not adapting.
Yeah.
And you're giving him plenty of time to adapt, and for whatever reason, he's not.
Yeah.
So
You're just
you're right.
turning
He's brain dead
turning
for
him
whatever
into an
reason.
idiot. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
There was a really good, I remember,
Mindy's dad too. That guy was funny.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh,
wasn't he
Jesus,
Patty?
I forgot about it.
Dad and Patty Duke, wasn't he? Was he the same guy?
I don't remember.
Quite
I
possibly.
think it was the same
Yeah,
guy.
it might have been. It might have been.
Patty Duke.
Morgan Fairchild
He was
was
funny.
on that show, I remember, in like the first season or so, too.
Was she really?
Yep.
What do you think of that?
Morgan Fairchild. There's that really good episode in the first season too. I remember where it was called Mork's Mixed Emotions, where it was all about love, because
Okay.
Mindy kisses him,
Oh yeah, okay.
and he starts acting really weird. Like his emotions keep bouncing from
yeah.
one extreme to the
It's like
next and
off-kilter,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah. It was like an outsider's perspective on human love and relationships, is what the whole episode was. And then he would always report into Orson at the end of the end. Mark calling Orson.
Oh my God.
Come in, Orson.
All right, in 78 as well, though running to 1986, we had Different Strokes, which we kind of touched on a little bit with Arnold.
I mean, it
and
started out
Willis
good.
And
Started
then-
out great, actually.
Yeah.
It started out pretty darn funny.
It really did.
The rich white guy going and adopting the two kids from the
Right.
ghetto. Yeah.
The inner city kids.
But once that redheaded little shit came on,
Oh
I
God.
wanted him dead so bad.
And Mrs. Garrett left.
Yep, to do Facts of Life.
Yep.
Facts of life.
Mrs. Garrett was on there for like one or two seasons.
Janet Jackson was on that show. She was Willis's girlfriend.
Was she really?
Yeah,
I remember her on Good
she
Times.
was on Good Times as
I
Penny.
remember her on Good Times.
Yeah,
too.
she was Penny on Good Times, and she was Willis's girlfriend on
Wow.
on Different Strokes. Yeah,
But yeah, Different Strokes got really bad
it
for a
got
while.
really
Because they did Just Say No. Remember when
Right,
Nancy Reagan was on?
there.
How ironic
Oh,
is that,
God.
considering that show with its cast?
Oh,
God, I mean, Jesus,
That
man.
worked real well.
Todd Bridges, Dana Plato, holy balls, man.
who knows what the hell Coleman did in his
I
spare
know.
time?
Yeah.
Do you guys, Mike, do you remember the episode, the two-part episode with the bicycle shop guy, Gordon Jump,
Oh, Jesus.
where he tried to have sex with Arnold and Dudley?
He shows them dirty magazines. Is that what it is?
Cartoons.
Cartoons?
No, you got me on that one.
You don't remember that?
Watching it
Oh,
like
that's one of the most infamous sitcom episodes of the 80s of all time, where
Yeah.
Gordon Jump, the bicycle man, shop man, trying
He
to...
was in KRP, right? Gordon
He
Jump.
Yeah.
was the manager
Okay. Yeah,
at WKRP.
He was like, he owned a bicycle shop, and he had this like secret room in the back of the bicycle
Yep.
shop where he was like giving them wine.
Yep. And they were getting little
Jesus, no.
little
I
buzz.
don't remember that at all.
He was trying to feel up Arnold and Dudley, man.
Sure was.
Yeah.
I think one of them got shirtless at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dudley.
It was creepy. It was that might have been mine, and maybe it was Mike's. I'll never watch that show again, Mom.
Yeah,
I'm done.
that was
I'm
bad.
done.
Yeah, seriously, Mike, look that up tonight. Gordon Jump on Different Strokes, and you'll find out.
All right.
That was going to be
Yeah.
some different strokes on
Yeah,
it.
right.
Whoa!
On that note,
Don't have to come sometime.
Whoa! Oh, that was disturbing.
Mrs. Garrett then would be a nice way to segue into Facts
Facts
of
of
Life.
Life.
That ran 79 to 88.
Speaking
as
of
a
a,
young girl, that show was the shit. And I'm sorry, I watched
I
that.
think that was a pretty good show. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody would say it started out poorly.
speaking
right.
of a show that was all about the issues, man.
Yeah.
Oh my!
I was of the age where Blair was really, she was the thing, man.
Oh,
Oh.
God, me too.
Yeah.
The early seasons of Facts of Life.
Hey man,
yeah.
she's from my hometown. She's from Fort Worth,
Is it
Texas.
really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Blair was
Yeah.
fine as hell.
Oh yeah, she was.
The character was kind of funny and snooty too.
Yep.
Right. She
Yep.
was the rich girl.
Yeah.
And her
Joe.
direct polar opposite was Joe, who was the poor girl there on a special scholarship.
The tough girl,
Tough
Nancy
girl.
McKeon.
Nancy
Yeah.
McKeon, the tough girl.
Yeah. And then everything in between. And any
Tootie.
kind of girl that you could get in between.
Well, they had a big cast in the first season.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. And they got
Molly
rid of,
Ringwald was on there.
Yeah.
She was a little kid.
Yeah. They got rid of a lot
It's
of
there's so many people ask, are
Kim
you
Fields.
a Ginger or a Mary Ann? They should be asking, are you a Blair or a Joe?
right.
Well, if you were a Joe, you might be a lesbian. Because Joe was pretty.
Yeah, she was.
Joe was like this tough talking
Yeah.
Brooklyn chick, you know,
Yeah.
rode a
Right.
motorcycle and shit.
And then of course they drug that show out far too long
Too
because
long.
there's only so long they could be in school. They acknowledge that fact, but then Mrs. Garrett bought some kind of shop.
Yeah, it was like
a
a
little,
bakery or some
was it
shit.
a
Yeah,
bakery or
It's-
was it a boutique or something?
and they moved
Big
up
gift
above.
shop.
It's like Saved by the Bell. They're pulling anything
Yeah.
they can out of their asses to keep the show going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stretch it out, even though school has ended.
Right,
Yeah.
and then I think towards the end, even Mrs. Garrett left, so then it was just run by the girls for a while. and
Clooney was on that show for a year
That's
or two
right.
at the end of the run.
Oh,
George
yeah,
Clooney.
he was the Fix-It man.
Yeah.
Right,
Sure was.
Right. So we have that, and then from, let's see, where's next? 82, I guess we jump to from there.
What about Happy Days?
Well,
Yeah,
this
Happy
was-
Days stretched into the
Happy
80s.
Days stretched into 84.
Yeah,
Was it that
that was
Yeah.
10 years
Yeah.
that show was on.
Yeah, 74 to 84.
You want to talk about a show that changed,
It
man.
was awful.
Holy
Oh,
balls.
yeah, when Fonzie was a teacher.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And Heather O'Rourke from Poltergeist was his
Was on there for a year.
was on there for a year, and
Yeah.
he was with Linda Pearl.
Linda Pearl was on there for a year. That was Linda Pearl's
and,
daughter.
and he
Yep.
was a teacher. He was a shop teacher at the local high school or college.
Oh, Ted
Oh,
McGinley.
God. McGinley made his first
That was
appearance.
horrible.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was bad. It was like it was even getting bad even still before Richie and Ralph left. Even before
Yeah, it was.
getting bad before
Like
that.
I said, once Chachi pops his head into anything, he's gonna fuck it up, and he did.
Yeah.
If
If you see Scott Baio,
you're or Ted McGinley,
you're in big
you're big fucking trouble.
You're in big trouble if you see Scott Baio on
Yeah.
an episode of Happy Days. It's going to be crap.
Wasn't there a short-lived series of Al's Place?
Probably.
I
Probably.
swear to it.
I'm sure there was.
Al sucked. Al wasn't funny.
No, Vecchio.
He wasn't funny. No, he was
No.
lovable. I liked him.
He was a big cuddly dude.
He was
you know?
a little too cuddly.
Yeah, I know.
A little-
He wasn't as good as Mr. Miyagi.
no, Mr. Miyagi was the best.
Arnold was funny.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember in like the third season, he said, "Oh, so and so Takahashi is going to be giving karate lessons at Arnold's tonight." They're all waiting for Takahashi to show up.
It's him.
It's Arnold. Yeah. Like, what are you doing here? Where's Takahashi? He's like, I'm Takahashi. He's like, yeah, but why do you call yourself Arnold then? He's like, because. He's like, I buy restaurants. He's like, sign outside say Arnold. He's like, now I Arnold. He's like, he says, I kept sign. He's like, sign's expensive. He's like, big
Yeah.
sign's expensive. You know how many letters in Takahashi?
That's right. See, that's funny. That show was hilarious at that point. It
Yeah,
was prime
yeah.
at that point. But once the 80s came along, they started centering shows around Jimmy Piccolo.
Yeah.
And it was bad. And Chachi had that fucking bandana
Around his thigh.
thigh. Oh, God.
And he was wearing like a mullet type haircut.
Yeah, he was looking like he just came out of a Loverboy.
Right?
video.
Yes. Yes. And nostalgic-wise, they had lost everything.
Joni's hair was permed.
Yeah.
Joni had a Brillo head haircut.
They looked like early 80s Valley kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Which is, probably because it was so shitty in the 80s.
It was
probably
just
why
so
it was
They just stopped giving a
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. It's like whatever.
And even before the 80s hit, like
It was getting bad already.
they were getting like Ralph Malph and Potsy were walking around with blow dried hair.
Pump Your Blood song.
Oh, Mike, you remember that when they were in college on Happy Days and
Yes, I remember.
the Pump Your
Yes.
Blood song?
So awful, man.
That has to be one of the
Yeah.
5 to 10 worst moments in the history of
I don't
television was
remember
It's
Potsy's Pump
bad.
Your Blood song.
It is so bad.
Oh, right. Okay.
He had to
Oh.
put stuff into song lyrics in order to remember it. And it was all about the heart.
Yeah.
And the whole class is dancing around to
And just his annoying
Pump
voice
Your
singing
Blood.
it. Oh, God.
Well, didn't he try to have a music career?
He
Didn't
did have a
try?
music career. My grandmother had an Anson Williams record, and I remember seeing that. I remember seeing it when I was like 8, and I was like, "It's fucking Potsy! You have a Potsy record?"
Well, he sounds like somebody your grandma would have listened to.
Well, he does. Yeah. Put your head on my shoulder.
He would take these cool old rock and roll songs and
Yeah.
make them sound like lounge lizard
Croon
music.
He would start crooning it.
Yeah. Splish splash, I was taking a bath.
Well, I
What
remember
about a
that
Saturday night? He took the rock edge
Yeah.
out of him.
It was like Pat Boone.
And he put like lame crooner stuff in it.
Okay, hate to move you guys off, but we're running.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
We're running
Running
over an
along,
hour now. So 1982 to 89, we have Family Ties.
One of the greatest
Yes.
sitcoms of all time.
Yes.
Until like the last couple of seasons. Once the kid
comes around.
Once Andrew,
Right.
you went through that 1 year
Yep.
where Andrew aged like 4 years over a summer.
Over a summer.
Yeah,
Be done with the show.
Yeah.
it was like,
Close up shop.
and it was like the writing wasn't as good on it anymore.
But it started out great.
Yeah.
It was a funny show, and it was always funny.
Right.
They
Yeah.
rarely, very rarely, except for maybe the Tom Hanks, the drunk uncle episode.
They were an issue
They very
show, too.
rarely went. They didn't go into issues a lot though. And when they did, they were
all
funny.
right, they had the dorky kid next door, right?
Skippy,
Skippy.
Skippy.
he had the
And I
odds for
remember
Mallory.
when he found out he was adopted.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And changed his name to what it said on his birth certificate, Baby Boy.
Oh my
Baby
God.
Boy Doe.
That's right.
That's right, Baby Boy Doe.
Oh my God.
They
I remember
you're right.
that.
Terrible.
They did have some issue shows. They also had a show where I think Meredith Baxter Burney, who's a lesbian now, and I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, she's a lesbian.
Yeah, but anyway, she was she didn't join Mallory's sorority, but she started hanging out with them, and they
Yeah.
started liking Mom better than Mallory, and Mallory got all jealous, and yeah, it was an issue show. I
They
guess,
did that
to-
thing
to
with
an
them.
extent.
They did that thing with the modeling thing too, where Mallory wanted to become a model, and the agency did a mother-daughter thing with the two of them,
That's right.
and they only wanted a lease after.
Yeah.
Remember they were filming this
That's almost
commercial?
exactly like the episode I just brought up, but different.
It
yeah.
was so stupid. They were filming a commercial in the Keaton's kitchen called the Proper Penguin, and it was funny. It was funny because they were like poking fun at actual commercials.
Yeah.
Where Mrs. Keaton walks up to the fridge and she's like, and she does this monologue like, I was caught in traffic, blah, 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 blah. How am I going to, make this meal in 20 minutes for all these friends?
That's right.
And this dude opens the door. He's in a suit. What about the Proper Penguin?
And by the way, Michael Gross, one of the most underrated comedic actors, I think.
He
in the
was
80s.
funny.
He was extremely funny. He's also the brother of course, Alfalfa.
Mary Gross,
Mary Gross,
yeah.
that's right.
Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live, that's right.
Right. I'm going to name these three real quick. 85 and 84. We have Kate and Allie, Who's the Boss, and Golden Girls. None of those shows I really cared for by that much.
I
but
hated Who's the Boss.
Who's the Boss
No,
sucked.
I hated
Well,
Who's the
Kate and
Boss.
Allie I liked.
What's her name?
Golden Girls, no, I
Light,
did not watch.
something light.
Alyssa Milano was hot.
Yeah, I watched Who's the Boss because I thought Alyssa Milano was cute.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judith Light was a very attractive lady, too.
She came from Guiding Light. She came from so.
And Stephen Keaton almost had an affair with her on Family Ties once, too.
Hey, the really tall, hot chick that was married to Jeff Goldblum was also on Family Ties.
She did.
She
She
was
played
the
the
maid. She was the nanny, and she sucked.
She
was
sucked.
Awful.
It's just
Wow.
Alex had a hard on for her,
Right.
so he hired her.
Yes, but she couldn't cook. She couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
That was actually a pretty
she
funny
was
episode.
funny. Yeah, she was funny on that.
So I
Golden
just,
Girls was that was a phenomenal show.
oh, I hated that show.
Yeah.
The
They-
lighting on it was fantastic.
Those ladies had great chemistry with each other.
They
Yeah.
did. I just didn't
Yeah.
care for it.
those characters perfectly.
Yeah,
And
they
I
did.
I guess you can't talk 80s TV without Maude. I can't remember if her Maude show was 80s or 70s.
70s.
Was it
It was
70s?
Norman
that was
Lear.
pure
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
Norman Lear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I can understand that.
because she was Edith Bunker's cousin.
A lot of people forget that Good Times spun off from
Maude.
Maude.
Did it really?
Yeah.
And Maude spun off from All in the Family.
Right. Well, because Esther was
So
their.
did the Jeffersons. Didn't that last in the
Esther Roll,
80s?
Florida Evans was her maid.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Jefferson's ended sometime in the 80s, but it was mainly in the 70s.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the show was.
It was like 74 to 84 or
Yeah.
something like that.
And
Same run as Happy Days.
It stayed good. I don't think it didn't get as unfunny as Happy Days. George Jefferson was still pretty funny at the end of that show. Happy Days sucked.
Yeah.
In
Right.
'84. I mean, it was done.
And what's her name that was the maid in that show? Lenny Kravitz's mother.
Marla Gibbs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Mike,
She
you're
was
Wait,
hilarious.
No. Lenny Kravitz's mother is from the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
Willis.
That's what I was saying.
Miss Willis.
the next door
The
neighbor.
Willis. Yeah, okay. I was thinking of
Jenny's
Yeah.
mom.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Mike, you're right about the Golden Girls. Those roles fit those women, all
Right.
four of them,
Yeah.
Perfect.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Betty White as the childlike ditz,
Yeah.
Rue McClanahan as the Southern whore.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
And those two were originally cast opposite of what they got.
that's
They
crazy.
wanted Betty White to be the Southern whore.
Really?
Because she played Luann, what's her name, on the
Oh,
Mary Tyler Moore
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and what's her name? B. Arthur. B. Arthur was freaking hilarious, man.
I liked her on that show. Just overall.
I
for
don't
whatever
care what
reason, I
anybody
didn't like that
says,
show.
man. B. Arthur was hilarious.
Yes. She was the straight man on that show, and she just knocked it out of the park.
Right.
And
Is that
when you
pun
say
intended?
man, when you say man,
Really
you're
good.
not far off.
All right, moving on, we've got also in 82 to 93, Cheers.
Cheers!
Years.
Wow, man.
Ted Danson.
Talk about a great
well-written,
theme
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
All it was Ted Danson.
Kirstie
It was
Alley.
hilarious.
That's where she
Kirstie Alley, yeah, great everything, actually.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shelley Long. That was like the original. Whenever you see that hackneyed plot
Mhm.
of the opposites attracting,
Right, right.
that's where it all comes from, is Sam and Diane.
Yeah.
That's why that whole thing blew everybody's mind when it came on the air, is
Yeah.
because it was so interesting to watch,
Right.
because she was this wannabe intellectual
Yep.
type, and
Right.
and he was this
he
ex-jock
was in the
playboy,
She was in the theater and poetry, and he was an ex-ball player.
ex-ball player, man
Yeah.
slut,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
who owned a bar
Right.
and was
But
all
the
the bar.
extra characters on there helped, or what made that show.
Oh, Norm,
Right.
And
yeah.
remember, he didn't drink. He was a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
Which was
Yeah.
Cliff and Norm and oh god,
Yep.
Yeah,
And Coach.
yeah.
Frasier
Frasier came along eventually
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
spun off into a
What
brilliant
was
show.
her character's name? What's her character's name?
Carla.
Carla.
Carla, yeah.
Yeah, there's Carla and
DeVito's wife for a while. They're divorced now though. But
Are
yeah.
they really?
Yeah.
I just didn't like when they centered entire episodes around Carla.
I didn't
And
either.
then she had her ex-husband, and then she
'Cause
got his ditzy.
he was
ditzy young
funny.
wife.
Nick was funny.
was
Yeah,
funny.
Nick
Yeah.
Tortelli.
His ditzy wife was Casey Kasem's wife.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right. And
Yeah.
didn't they have like a spin-off for?
They
Wow.
might have, like
They
Nick.
did. I think
Yeah.
they had their own
But
spinoff
of
that
course-
lasted half a season.
But of course, with Cheers, Frasier spin-off of that, probably
He played that character for like
a good,
20 years.
Successful
Yeah.
Yeah.
spin-off of that.
A brilliant show. Yeah.
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 It was probably one of the best
Come on,
spin-offs ever made.
It wasn't as good as Flo.
Dude, I remember the theme song to Flow sounds like
Flow.
Convoy.
Oh
Sounds
my
like the,
God.
well, there's a woman slinging the hash that can,
I never understood it because
she's the hottest piece of ass. She's Flow, something like that.
I never got that because I thought she was just unattractive to me.
Yeah, I think it was just part
Okay.
of the joke,
Yeah. Give me Vera.
Kiss
Yeah.
my grits. Vera just looked like a crackhead.
I know.
1982 to 1990, we have a sleepy little sitcom named Newhart with Bob Newhart.
Yes.
A lot of people forget about that.
Yeah,
I
that
know.
was on not too long, a couple months
Newhart was
ago.
one of
They
the
were playing
funniest
it.
things
Yeah.
on TV.
Excellent.
Hello, my name is Larry. This is my brother Daryl and my other brother
Daryl, that's right.
Right,
The
yeah.
two brothers
Yeah.
named Daryl.
And Peter Scolari went on to be in that show too.
Yeah, Bosom
He's
Buddies.
The,
Yep,
the stuck
that's
up,
right.
Ivy League kind of guy, produced Bob's show.
Well, and he
for
played that
Vermont.
part very
Oh,
well,
yeah,
too,
yeah.
because he was kind of like that on Bosom Buddies, too.
And then
He was kind of the intellectual half of that
Right.
duo.
Well, Bob Newhart himself is just amazing.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's her name? That blonde. She tried to do music.
She played Stephanie was her character. I don't know what her name was, the actual actress's name.
On Newhart?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I don't remember. I might know if I saw her again.
But I always want to think that she always looked like Samantha Fox without the boobs.
Yeah.
It's a different,
What?
different chick altogether.
That show had one of the best endings for any show too.
Samantha Fox.
Remember where he woke up in bed with
right.
with what's her
the wife
name?
from the Bob Newhart
From the Bob
show
Newhart
that had the
show?
weirdest
I just
dream.
had the strangest dream.
Yeah. That was
A lot of people were pissed off that was the finale.
Yeah.
They hated it
Yeah.
because it
Oh, I
erased
thought it was
everything that they had
fantastic.
watched.
Because the whole series hadn't been real.
Some people take television
Way too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suzanne
What's his
Plachette.
name that was what's his name that was the handyman on that show? Was hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom Poston.
Yes. I couldn't remember. It's like I could picture his face, but I couldn't remember his
But the
name.
whole series turned out to be a dream.
Yeah.
And people were really irate about that. I remember that.
Yeah, because he woke up in bed with, and Suzanne Plachette rolls over.
Right.
She's like, "Go back to sleep, Bob."
And that's hilarious. By the way.
Yeah,
I think
that
it's
was great.
It's genius.
It was a great
Yeah.
joke to play on
People
all the
were
viewers.
really pissed, man.
It was, just like solving the problem of who shot JR.
Right.
Right.
Maybe up next season,
Oh, that was Bobby. That was when they had to bring Bobby back to life on
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had been dead for the whole
He was in the
season.
shower.
Yeah.
He was taking a shower.
Morning. Yeah.
He's in the shower and he's going, "Hey, I've got webbed fingers. I must be the man from Atlanta."
The chick who shot JR, she was hot. Mary Crosby.
Bing
Oh my
Crosby's
God.
daughter,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mary.
She was
Oh
fine,
my God. Yeah.
Okay, I've got 2 more shows on this list. This is in no particular order. We have Night Court,
Not a fan?
really, from 84 to
What?
92.
Well, I knew you
Okay.
That was phenomenal.
It was
Night Court
extremely
was
well written. I just didn't like it.
Night Court, the thing with that show is it was like Married with Children in that, to me, it could alternate funny,
Funny and not.
stupid.
Yeah.
Funny, stupid, like multiple times in the same episode.
Yeah.
There would be gags that
I'll
would just
give you
fall completely flat to me.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too.
Yeah. Were they-
Sometimes Harry Anderson bothered me, sometimes he didn't. It was kind of
Yeah.
back
When
and
Mel
forth.
Torme started showing up on the show, that's when it really took
No,
off.
He was a huge Mel Torme fan.
That's right. He was obsessed with Mel Torme. I
And
forgot about that.
John Aston ended up coming on that
Yeah.
as Harry's what was he, his mom's boyfriend or something like
Something
that.
like that.
Something like
Buddy.
that.
The character Bull did nothing for me.
Me either. I didn't care for
Yeah.
Bull
Old
much.
wasn't it. It was the old lady.
The one that died.
Before she died.
2 of them died.
Yeah. True.
They had one on the
Did
first.
There was the black chick, the heavyset one.
Roz.
Yes,
She was the one that
Roz.
lived.
Roz died too?
What?
Did Roz die too?
No.
Roz
Roz
didn't
2.
die.
There was one old lady on for like the first season, and
Vaguely
then
remember
she
that.
died. And then another old lady came on, and she died after the end of the second season.
Roz was
old
probably
ladies
nervous
after
as
that.
shit when she started that role.
She said, Marsha Warfield said
Yeah.
the other cast members were giving her shit about, you better,
Marshall Warfield, she said that's her stand-up comedian.
you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a drummer for Spinal Tap.
I will
Yeah.
say, one final thing I do want to say about Night Court, John Larroquette was great.
Yeah.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
And he was
Yeah.
phenomenal in every episode.
And
So
who's
was So was Marky Post.
That's I couldn't-
Yeah,
Marky
was good.
Post.
Yeah.
She was terrific as the angelic little.
Public defender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the public defender, and Larroquette was the slimy
Yeah.
prosecutor,
Yeah.
and they were like the angel and the devil
Right.
on Harry Anderson's shoulder all the time.
Right,
That
right.
was
And that worked.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was
worked.
terrific.
That was good chemistry there.
Yep.
I lied about that. I do have a short list of 80 shows that go into the 90s, late 80s. But I had on the top, the first thing that comes to mind, 80s, 84 to 92.
Cosby Show.
Cosby
Oh,
I've been watching that on the Bounce Network on
Oh, really?
5.2. Yeah.
Just like TV gold is basically what that Cosby Show was. I mean, it kind of set the standard as far as
hey man, it was a great
smart
show.
sitcom kind
It
of
saved
thing.
the sitcom because
Yeah.
the sitcom
Yeah.
was dying
It
at
was.
that time. Yeah.
Yes.
But I will say this: Cosby Show. Once that the big tall skinny chick moved in, and Theo was
Cousin Pam.
Theo was a teacher, so Theo was gone.
Oh,
Oh my God,
God.
that's getting way.
Yeah, the show started really
They
sucked.
went off to
And-
a different world.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Raven Simone.
Oh,
Right.
Yes.
I wanted to murder
I
that
did too.
kid.
I did too.
Yeah.
I hated that because
I did too.
Rudy was getting
Was it-
too old
yeah,
to
she
be
was a
cute
cute
anymore. She was like
Yeah.
apparently
So where else can we find a really bad actor, a cute girl? You know,
they had
and
Denise get married to that
Right.
army dude,
Uh-huh.
and it was his daughter from like a previous marriage or something.
Here's something really funny. Well, not funny, she's weird. Lisa Bonet, of course, spun off into a different world.
Right.
And she came back. She got pregnant by Lenny Kravitz. Cosby, real life, Bill Cosby had a major problem with a star of his show
Wholesomeness.
getting pregnant and not being married.
Yeah.
And now what we know about Bill is just wow.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But he was like Mr. Morals, man.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody thought of him like that.
That's part of what bugs me about watching the show today.
That's why I can't watch it now.
Is that the show is so wholesome and like goody two shoes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
And I
because you
know-
know what you know now.
And I know you have a problem with Claire.
Oh, he didn't
Oh, I
like Claire at
can't
all.
stand
Always
Claire.
many
Like,
times
And,
before.
and I've been watching the show from like the first season.
Right.
Okay, they're on like season 4 now. First couple of seasons, I'm sitting here. I'm like, maybe I was too rough on Claire before. I'm like, I don't mind it. All of a sudden,
No, she gets sassy.
in the
about
last season, she has started pulling that. Oh no, I do not
season.
think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Bullshit of hers.
Yeah.
Oh my
Elvin,
god.
you need to learn how to. Yeah.
Oh, there was this scene on the other night where she offered to get Cliff and Alvin coffee. And Alvin's like, I didn't think you did that sort of thing, Mrs. Huxtable. And she's like, what sort of
What
thing is
sort
that?
of thing is
Alvin?"
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
serve your man. And it was funny.
I remember watching the football game when Ahmad Rashad proposed to Felicia.
Yeah, because
Wow.
in the first couple of seasons, her last name is different. It's like something Anderson.
Well, they're divorced now, but yeah.
It didn't become Rashad until like the 3rd season of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And then,
And I remember the proposal. I was like, what?
Wow. Really?
And it broke my heart because Felicia Rashad was gorgeous.
yes, she was.
Oh, I wanted to be with Ahmad.
She was a beautiful woman. There was
I loved him on Rashad. He's a Minnesota Viking.
There was a coldness about Claire, though. There was a coldness about her. You know what I mean? She was smart. She was
Yeah.
sassy, but there was also this coldness.
Yeah.
Like I could
she
never
was-
picture her like,
She was a lawyer.
yeah,
She was an attorney, and Cosby was a doctor. And the scene where they go to buy a car, and they're trying not to let Sinbad know
that
they're
episode
well-
was just on last
That's
week.
funny. That's a funny episode.
Yeah, it was.
Because Sinbad, in the beginning, has no idea that they're wealthy. And then Theo keeps giving him clues. And he was like, wait a minute, your wife's an attorney, you're a doctor.
And Gilbert Gottfried came running in. The Huxtable!
Right, that's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sinbad's approach as a car dealer just completely changes.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
Because I think Huxtable was trying to, like, haggle with him on money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was big time. He was dressed down and everything.
Right.
Had a ball
Yep,
cap
had a
and
ball cap
sweatpants on and shit. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go into what I labeled as the late bloomers, late 80s into the 90s, well into the 90s.
Roseanne.
We have Roseanne. I'm just gonna list them off. Roseanne Murphy Brown, Married with Children, The Wonder Years, and Seinfeld, which in itself you kind of think it's a
Technically-
90s show, but it started in 89.
Technically, the first episode is like
Yeah.
1989. Yeah.
So,
We won't get into
Probably in
Seinfeld because that's
September of 89.
90s.
Right, right.
I never watched an episode of Murphy Brown.
Nope, didn't either.
I did.
No,
That was one of the shows my mom watched, and then I remember, but this wasn't.
I think it won Emmys and stuff,
It
didn't
was
it?
well,
Yep.
yeah. It was an incredibly
Yeah, it was
smart
huge.
show.
Yeah.
It was very
critically, it was
Yes.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Quayle, not a big fan.
Well, that's because Murphy Brown got pregnant.
Yeah.
She had a
It's
child
very-
out of
Right.
wedlock.
He had a
Yes.
big problem with that show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dork.
So there's that. What was her name? Murphy Brown.
Meredith
Oh,
Baxter.
Candace Bergen.
Candace Bergen.
Yeah, Candace Bergen.
That's who it was.
Candace Bergen.
Yeah.
God, what am I thinking?
I don't know.
Yeah, Meredith Baxter Burney was pretty. Candace Bergen, Man-Face, pretty much
That
her whole
was
career.
that was Family Ties,
Yeah.
right?
Meredith Baxter Barney?
Yeah.
As Mrs.
Okay.
Keith.
Yeah.
Right.
Mrs. Keith.
Roseanne, huge show.
Like Roseanne for like the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. The end of
Never
the
cared for
season, or the end of the run.
Clooney was on that too.
Yeah, George Clooney was on that. Towards the end of the run, it got really stupid,
It got
and
stupid.
silly.
Shelley Winters.
Yeah.
Shelley Winters was
She
annoying.
addressed that like in the very final episode of Roseanne, walking that back. This is just me being, imagining this shit, writing.
Her husband that died of a
that
heart
Dan
attack.
actually
Yeah.
died, and everything
At
winning the
Darlene's
lottery
wedding.
on
Yeah. Okay.
did not really happen.
Shelley Winters was very annoying when she was on there.
Is that the mother?
Yes.
Oh my God, she was meant to be.
Tom
annoying.
Arnold obviously is
Because Roseanne and Jackie hated her.
no Tom Arnold. Was it Tom Arnold? Is that his name?
Yeah.
God, he was annoying.
Tom Arnold on the show, too?
Yeah, he was on there for a while when they were
Artie.
married. When they
Artie.
were married.
Yeah,
Those
back
the
when they
characters'
changed their
names.
names on
I know
their
that-
dresses.
Yeah.
I remember for a while they were getting comparisons of Roseanne Barr to Lucille Ball, and I was like, okay, stop.
Yeah.
Just fucking stop. No.
Remember when she sang the national anthem
Yes.
at that Padres game?
But I was like, don't compare her to Lucille Ball because I don't even think she was the funniest person on the show. I thought John Goodman
John
was.
Goodman, yeah.
So I don't know.
No, she didn't sing the national anthem. That was "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," wasn't it?
That's right. Yes.
Was it "Take Me Out to the Ball"? I thought it was the
No, it
national
was the
anthem
national anthem.
because
Oh, yeah, it was the national
were
anthem.
pissed.
Yeah, people were really
People
upset.
were pissed.
She grabbed her crotch.
She grabbed her crotch and
spitting.
spit at the
Yeah.
end of it. Yeah.
And I don't know if we want to say anything. Anybody married with children or Wonder Years? Anybody got anything to say about
Married
that?
with Children was extremely refreshing when it came on the air because it was such an anti-goody-goody two-shoes show.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
except for
Anti-sitcom,
Cheers
I think, yeah.
was like, because everybody
the
started copying the
anti-Cheers.
Cosby Show.
Right.
Family this, family that, family, family. Oh, what is the
It's-
father going to do when his kids play a prank on him?
Right, and then Growing Pains.
It was sickening.
Growing Pains became basically the White Cosby Show.
It got sick.
Yeah, it
Right.
did get sick.
Yeah, that was
And it was
Yep.
issue show after issue show
And-
after issue show.
Married with Children was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It was a
Right.
a poor family that hated each other.
right.
For once, Roger McKinley did not signal the end of a show.
Ted McGinley.
Ted McGinley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
What did I say?
he was
Everybody our
he
age.
was married to the lesbian, right?
Oh yeah,
that's
Marcy.
Right. Yes.
Marcy ended up being a
Yeah.
lesbian in real life. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember Mad Magazine one time was talking about something that always bugged me about that show too was that Al never wanted to have sex with Peg.
Right.
It's just like, 52% of Married with Children's viewers are men with wives who look like Roseanne who would trade places with Al Bundy in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
That's
Al was
great.
hooked on his magazine Biggins.
Biggins
Biggins,
magazine.
yeah.
That's right. But again, Married with Children was that show too that would alternate funny, stupid,
Right.
funny, stupid,
Yep.
funny, stupid,
Lot
and
of
it would just
stupid.
bounce back and forth multiple times, even in
Well,
the
I
same
remember at the
episode.
beginning of the show, the dog was the character. The dog,
Buck,
had
Yeah.
thoughts.
Buck.
It would say,
Oh,
But no, he
yeah,
thought out loud.
yeah,
Vaguely
yes,
remember that.
yes.
Like I said, like Craig said, it alternated. Funny, stupid, funny, stupid. And I think that's why I lost interest and couldn't
and
sustain it.
Christina Applegate
Oh my
became like a
God.
sex symbol of our generation.
Yeah,
As well she should have.
Yeah,
yeah, and yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the epitome of a ditzy blonde.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And a
stupid,
slut.
Friggin' wrong. Yeah.
What was the other show you mentioned?
Christina Applegate herself,
The Wonder
a
Years.
very intelligent woman.
Wonder
Oh, she
Years.
hated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she hated the character.
Wonder Years was
Yeah.
great.
88 to 93.
Wonder Years,
Wonder Years was a great show.
Yeah.
Do you count that, or is that a
88?
dramedy?
It was a
It
comedy.
was a comedy. I mean, there was no laugh track. It wasn't your typical
Yeah.
sitcom kind of.
And it was an hour long.
No, it was only
half
half an hour.
It was a half hour.
It was.
Yeah.
That was another one too, where everybody on that show, the stars, fit the characters
perfectly.
like a
Yeah.
glove. Dan Loria,
Yeah.
the father,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was extremely well cast.
grumpy, and then what's her? I can't remember the name of the mom, but my God, she was just the
She was perfect.
sunny,
Oh my
sunny,
God.
trying to keep everything
She
together
was
all the
absolutely
time. Mother,
perfect.
you know,
And the dad who ended up playing Vince Lombardi.
And
Dan
Winnie
Laurie.
just
Yeah,
grew up to
yeah,
be so hot.
Yeah.
his sister was fine.
That
His
show was-
hippie sister, Karen.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a great show. Very
And
good
but
show.
Fred Savage's character was the exact same character that he played in Princess Bride.
Really?
Was it supposed to?
Oh, because he's being told the story of the Princess Bride, right?
Yeah,
At the beginning and end of the movie.
yeah. And it really, if it wasn't for Rob Reiner, Fred Savage never would exist as an actor.
Yeah, right.
So we know who to blame.
Yeah, he's to blame.
I will say about Wonder Years.
Way to go, Meathead.
See if you guys agree with me on this. I hated Winnie.
What?
She was.
I hated
Yeah, I
Winnie.
think
She
she
was
was
a
that construct.
bipolar
She was an OBS.
bitch.
You didn't like
Yeah.
Benny Cooper?
No. Who could
Yeah.
never decide
Make up her
from week to
mind,
week
right,
whether
right.
she liked Kevin or not.
Oh, I like you. I like you
Yeah.
this minute.
I like you, I hate you. I like you, I hate you.
Yeah.
I remember when that blonde gal came
It's
on there.
frustrating.
I remember when that blonde gal that he was tempted by came on, like their freshman, sophomore year of high school. What the hell was her name? That cute blonde gal who had the exotic name. She had the exotic name. I was just like, Kevin, go with her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Go with her.
Well,
What are you
they
doing?
wanted
She
to make
wanted
it a,
him,
They
too.
wanted to make it a frustrating, romance
She
type thing.
she wanted.
Yeah, she did.
What the hell was her name? Why can't I remember it? I mean, even my dad, who barely paid attention to the show, didn't concern himself with relationships on TV shows.
Thought
I
Winnie
remember-
was a bitch.
Well, it was the end of one of those episodes where the blonde gal was, I can't remember her name, was like being presented as some kind of temptress almost
Right.
to their relationship
Yeah,
between
right.
Kevin and Whitney. And my dad looks at me and he goes, why doesn't Kevin just go with her? He's like, seriously? And it's like, I mean, she seems like a nice enough girl. I mean, she's pretty and all this stuff.
Yeah.
What the hell was her name?
I don't remember. And
She was in, like,
the
4
series-
episodes.
Yeah, the series is on Netflix, and I watched it not that long ago from
Is
beginning to end. Oh yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Great show. Joe Cocker's version of With Little Help
Right,
My
right.
Friends.
yeah.
They had a lot of trouble getting that show on DVD because of all the music in it,
Oh, I'm sure.
Cold Case is still not on DVD because of that.
because of the music.
Yeah. Because they use actual, which it's frustrating and it's really annoying.
Yeah.
All right, kids, we're gonna have to wrap it up because I've got a kid who's gonna be picked up here.
Oh,
soon.
all
right
so thanks for watching those 80s Kids Remember this week with sitcoms. We'll be back again hopefully in 2 weeks with subject yet to be determined. As
Madeline.
always is. Okay. All right.
Madeline was her name. Excuse me.
All right.
Madeline.
Madeline.
Found it next to the name of that Angela, next to that song, that title.
Winger. Madeline.
So until then, I'm Andy.
I'm Brian.
Craig.
And Mike,
Don't forget to like us on YouTube. The little like button, leave a comment. If you have an idea for a topic, shoot it out there. I'm open to ideas.
Mike's the tall, skinny black guy
Yeah.
right here, by the way.
I'm gonna play a joke on him. I'm gonna tap him on the shoulder. Oh, what? Huh? See you, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Yes.